Hello yogis, my name is Salwa. Today I will be guiding you through a creative flow on your mat today. You can use blocks if you've got them at home. Otherwise we're going to start in a wide knee child's pose. So if you've got your blocks, you can place a block where you're going to rest your forehead. And we're just going to take a minute to get grounded, to arrive on our mats, to feel with each inhale our bellies rise and press against our thighs as they fill with air. As we exhale, we empty. We let go of anything that's not serving us today. Anything we don't need to take onto our mat, take into our practice. And could you begin to notice where you're holding on to tension? Is it in your shoulders? Is it in your jaw? Could you release it? You drop the resistance. How are your hips today? How's your back? Checking in with each muscle. How is it feeling? How are your fingertips, your hands, your forearms? Checking in with your breath. Just noticing, how are you breathing today? And letting go of judgment. There's no need to judge, just observe, just notice. How is your breathing? And could you allow it to be as it is? And the more you bring in that acceptance, that allowing, the more you can observe your breathing regulating itself. Your chest beginning to feel a little bit more open, a little less constriction. If your eyes are closed, open them. And use your hands to slowly bring you up to a seated position. And closing down the eyes, bringing your hands at prayer at your heart. Spine is tall. Taking a minute to set an intention for your practice. What do you need? What would you like to cultivate? Could you bring that word, that feeling, that phrase, not only into each movement, each breath, but also off your mat once we are done our practice into the rest of your day. If you've used a block, place it back off onto the side. And we're going to roll back into Malasana at the back of our mat. Now we're not going to stay here for long. You can place a block underneath your sit bones if that feels comfortable, but we're not going to be here for too long. So we're just swaying our hips from side to side, coming up onto the left tippy toes, and then switching. And then hips come up, we're forward folding, bending at the knees, releasing in that upper body, letting it dangle, letting it hang, maybe swaying from side to side. And come to stillness. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, empty. Last time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Walk your hands back out. Downward facing jog. Now this may be your first downward facing jog of the day. So take some time to walk your dog, bending in one knee, bending in the other. Now slowly walking your tippy toes to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Now, with a bend at your knees, you can fully intend that belly to the front of those thighs. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands come up, look up. Maybe taking a mini back bend. Exhale, hands come to heart. Tucking in the tailbone, core is engaged. Shoulders roll up, then we press them back down. We are ready to begin our practice. Taking a seat, fingertips come up to prayer chair pose. Inhale, come up to stand. A few more times. Chair. And stand. Chair. This time hold. And come to stand. Inhale, hands come all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, as you come up, you're picking up your right knee, bringing it into your chest with you. Hands come to prayer, finding your balance. Maybe you want to flex in that right foot, or maybe you want to point the toes. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, left knee comes up into your chest, hands at prayer. Exhale, forward fold. A few more times, cycle through these movements. You want to keep your spine as straight as possible when you come to stand. engaging in those glutes. Keeping your core active. And this time forward fold when you've done both sides. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, empty. Hands plant. We're coming into a tabletop. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Maybe just gently sway your hips from side to side, releasing any tension from what we just did. Then come back to center. Core is engaged. We're extending our left leg out. The left foot is flexed. And hold. Now bend at the knee, open at the left hip. We're bringing that left foot forward into a low lunge. So our hands are going to frame that left foot at the front of our mat. Now you can use blocks underneath your hands, like so. And you can stay here if this feels like enough, or without the blocks. You can bring your hands to your hips and slowly shift forward so that you can kind of press into a mini back bend. It's a very tiny movement, but you're feeling that mini back bend at the beginning of it. You're becoming very aware of what your core is doing. And as you exhale, you're curling your tailbone under. And you're tucking at that tailbone and engaging the core. So as you inhale, you're opening into that mini back bend, and as you exhale, you're curling in. Shifting between those two shapes. This time as you come into that mini back bend, hands are going to frame the foot. Inhale, left hand's going to come all the way up, opening up that left wing, that left side chest. Exhale, close it in. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Last time, inhale, open. And as you bring that left hand down, we're straightening in the front foot, half splits. Keep your spine as straight as possible, but keep a micro bend in that front leg and flex the front foot. Now we're shifting back into that low lunge. Open up the chest. The full expression of that back bend now. Exhale, tailbone tucks under, half splits, straightening the front leg. Shift between these two shapes a few more times. Now this time, hands plant. We're coming into a right side plank, but a modified one. So left foot is going to extend all the way back. Inhale, left hand comes up. And hold, core is tight. Now planting those left toes, that left foot down onto the ground, you're picking yourself up and bending over to that left side. Back into modified side plank. And shifting between these two shapes. Slowly, like you're moving through honey. Your fingertips are engaged, everything is working. And this time as you come into that modified side plank, elbow to left knee. We're stepping that left foot back at the front of our mat. Left hand comes on the inside of the left foot. We're picking up our back knee and coming into side angle. So you can use a block underneath that left hand to elevate you a little bit. Opening up in the right side of that chest. Maybe you look up. Right hand, right fingertips are engaged. If you have the block, place it back off onto the side. Hands swim to the front of your mat. Inhale, you're picking up the back foot and coming into standing splits. Now you can stay here, or the left finger pads are going to stay on the ground. Right hand's going to come to your chest. You're opening up in that right hip and coming into half moon. So, right hand can extend, finding your balance. Right hand and right foot are both engaged. You can stay here, or you can bind right hand to right foot. You're opening up in the chest, opening up in the hip. If you've done the bind, release it slowly. Right hand makes its way back onto the ground, bending in both feet, in both legs, sorry. We're stepping our right foot behind the left. Our feet are crossed, our legs are crossed, and we're folding in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands at the heart. Now squeeze through those inner thighs. You can stay here if that's enough, or you can shift your weight to your left or your right leg so that you can pick up your left knee and bring it into your chest, kind of like at the beginning. Now if that's enough, stay here or come into tree pose. Hands can stay at the heart or they can extend out. You can extend your branches, you can sway, whatever feels good for you today. Breathing here. Left foot is pressing on the inside of that right thigh. And the right thigh is pressing up against that foot. There's resistance on both ends. Slowly picking up that left knee, bringing it back into your chest at first, and then placing it back down right next to the right foot. Coming into Malasana, in front of your mat. A few breaths here. Exhale, hips come all the way up, forward fold. Maybe sway your hips from side to side. And we're going to meet in a downward facing dog. Inhale, come up onto the tippy toes. Exhale, press down onto the heels. 2 more times. Inhale, come up. Exhale, empty. Last time. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, let it go. Knees come down, tabletop. Again, sway your hips from side to side. Come to center. Core is engaged. Right leg extends out this time. Flexing in the right foot. Bending at the right knee, opening up that hip. We're bringing it into a low lunge at the front of your mat. Again, you can use blocks underneath your hands or hands come to your hips. And we're coming into just the micro back bend at first. And then tailbone tucks under. Inhale, open. Exhale, tailbone tucks. So really micro, small movement, but it's pretty effective. As you shift forward, hands are going to frame that front leg. Inhale, right hand opens up. That right wing is going to open through that chest. Exhale, close it in. 2 more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Last time. Inhale, open. Exhale as you bring that right hand down. We're straightening in that front leg, keeping the spine as straight as possible. You can use blocks here again. Flexing in that front foot, keeping a micro bend in that front leg. Breathing here. Bend into your low lunge. Full expression this time, opening up the chest. Exhale, tailbone tucks under, half splits. Flow through these shapes. This time as you come into your low lunge, we're shifting into left modified side plank. So left side's going to stay on the ground, right leg's going to extend out, flexing in that right foot, right hand comes up. Right foot plants down at the back of your mat. Pick yourself up and fold to that right side. Shift back into modified side plank. And back into your side stretch. And this time when you come into your modified side plank, knee to elbow, we're bringing that right foot back at the front of your mat. The right hand's going to come on the inside of your right foot. We're picking up our back knee and coming into side angle. So again, very helpful to have a block underneath that right hand so that you could get a little bit more elevation. I'm breathing here. If you have the block, place it back off onto the side. Hands come to the front of your mat, standing splits. You can stay here, or the right finger pads are going to stay on the ground. Left toes, left foot is engaged and flexed. Left hand can stay at the chest, or it can extend out. It is also very active. We're opening up that left hip and the left side of the chest. You can also bind. Breathing here. Letting go if you have the bind. The left hand comes back down onto the ground, closing off that hip, bending at both knees so that you can plant your left foot behind the right, crossing the knees, crossing the feet, and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Inner thighs pressed together, hands at the heart, finding your breath. Shifting your weight into your left leg now. You can stay here, or you can pick the right knee back up into your chest like we did at the beginning. You can stay here, or come into tree. Hands can be at prayer, or you extend your branches. Wherever you are at, you accept it fully. If you're in tree, the right knee comes back into your chest. And as you exhale, the right foot steps back down next to the left, coming back into Malasana. Now this time, we will stay for a little bit longer. So place a block, if you have one, underneath your sit bones so that you can straighten your spine. Taking a couple deep breaths here. Allow your thumbs to press against your sternum so you can feel your heartbeat. Reconnect with that intention that you set at the beginning for yourself. And if this is not comfortable for you to stay in, come into any other seated pose for you to get grounded, for you to still your mind, for you to absorb the benefits of this practice. Now, I invite you to pause this video and to come into any final resting pose that feels good in your body. It has been an absolute pleasure to practice with you today. Thank you for showing up for you. Namaste.